Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. I know it's been a while since I've made a video on this channel. Sorry for that. I'm usually hyper focused on the other channel and then a lot of other stuff has been going on. So I just haven't really found time to get around to it. The most recent series, if you want to call it that, on this channel that I had was basically discussing how many companies and corporations have been buying Bitcoin. I've been trying to make sure that everyone, to the best of my abilities, actually understands what's currently taking place in the world as far as, like, you all know the old story, how many Bitcoin there are. I'm sure some of you said it out loud. It's 21 million. That's all there ever will be. No more can be made. Got that part. We know that there are several million. It's estimated around maximum 6 million are lost and gone forever. I film with natural light, so if during the course of this video I end up looking insane, it's not my fault, it's Mother Nature. The other part is we started receiving information around last November, I want to say, and those were the previous two videos on this channel where basically I started writing down every single day, every time that a company came forward to say that they were openly going to be buying Bitcoin, because you better believe it's happening behind the scenes. I think even actually made lists. I'm a listy person. I think I'm even missing a couple of other really significant ones as far as, like, when companies only purchased $1 million worth of Bitcoin. So anyway, without further ado, this is going to be part 3 of their buying all the Bitcoin. I hope everyone heeds this digital warning, if you will. So I have a list. I don't know where to really put it. I was gonna hang it on something, but I don't have the hanging time right now. On the 16th of February, a company called MicroStrategy. If you don't know MicroStrategy, Google MicroStrategy Bitcoin. You'll get everything you need to know. They're a massive company, incredibly huge in the cryptocurrency space, and they've been also buying huge, gigantic amounts of Bitcoin all the time. On the 16th of February, like I said, it's been a while since I've been here, MicroStrategy announced that they were selling securities in convertible notes in order to raise $600 million in order to be able to buy Bitcoin. They actually ended up raising $1 billion, and I think they ended up raising even a little bit more, and that 1 point something billion dollars went into exclusively buying Bitcoin. On the 18th of February, Synbiotic, that is Synbiotic, a German firm, announced that they would be buying Bitcoin as a hedge against the devaluing US dollar. If you haven't been seeing what's been going on, man, there's been so much going on with the US dollar. It's been actually insane. There are so many videos talking about out there that we are actually currently in the midst of rising inflation costs. And I mean, it's just a lot. Everyone knows that the US dollar is currently being devalued, seemingly, except for other people who don't know that the US dollar is being devalued and that they would be investing an undisclosed amount of money into Bitcoin. On the 23rd of February, Square, which is another gigantic company in the cryptocurrency space, announced the purchase of $170 million worth of Bitcoin at an average price of around $51,235 US. They said that their purchase happened during the time when Bitcoin dropped from $58,000 to $47,000. On the 1st of March, MicroStrategy announced that they had purchased another $10 million worth of Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure you're seeing the trend here. On the 5th of March, MicroStrategy purchased another $10 million worth of Bitcoin when Bitcoin dropped to exactly $48,888. On the 7th of March, a company called Meitu, that is M-E-I-T-U. I was screamed at multiple times by multiple people across multiple channels that I was saying it incorrectly. Everyone tells me it's Meitu, so it's M-E-I-T-U. Purchased $17.9 million worth of Bitcoin and $22.1 million of Ethereum, announcing that they plan to allocate $100 million in total into crypto. The very next day, on the 8th of March, Norwegian oil and energy firm called Aker ASA, that is A-K-E-R space A-S-A, purchased $58 million worth of Bitcoin. If you haven't seen the other two videos that I made before this, I implore you to do so. Basically, because you'll have a more accurate picture of exactly what's really taking place. It is quite obvious, at least to me, this is my own opinion, as it is also my channel. I go over cryptocurrency news every single day, and the clear trend is that all the Bitcoin that there actually is out there continues to, we know that the amount of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin on cryptocurrency exchanges continues to decrease. There's less and less every single day, but it's never small amounts that are actually being taken off of the cryptocurrency exchanges. It's always millions and tens of millions and hundreds of $1,000,000 in value worth all the time. And eventually what it's looking like is that we're going to very soon get to a point where there's so little Bitcoin, no one knows for certain, that the price is going to spike and everyone's going to be like, why is it spiking? And people are going to realize that there's just simply not enough left because all these companies every single day are buying millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. So that's the... Acker Asa purchased $58 million worth of Bitcoin. They acquired 1,170 Bitcoin during their purchase. The very next day, the Soros Fund, New York Life, and Morgan Stanley joined Stone Ridge Holdings, Mass Mutual, and FS Investments and Bessemer Ventures in a $200 million Bitcoin investment firm with the New York DIG, known as the New York Digital Investment Group. On the 11th of March, Israeli asset manager Altshula Shaman, that is ALTSCHULER space SHAMAN, announced they purchased Bitcoin actually last year when Bitcoin was at $21,000, and they now hold on the 11th of March, so I assume it's even more now, $100 million just in Bitcoin alone. We're seeing a lot of companies who are talking about that they're allocating a significant portion, I was going to say a small portion, and maybe small depending on the size of the company, of their cash reserves directly into Bitcoin. So we've had a couple of companies who've come forward and they're like, yeah, you know, we have 13 billion on the books. We're going to allocate around $25 million into Bitcoin. So, you know, mathematically, percentage-wise, for them, it's a small amount, but this is still a significantly huge amount to actually be able to just simply throw into the Bitcoin marketplace. On the 11th of March, DCG, that is the Digital Currency Group, announced a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission within the United States with a Rule 10b-18 form of a future purchase. They said they plan on purchasing $250 million worth of Bitcoin, and they will be doing so through Grayscale. The very next day, MicroStrategy purchased another 262 Bitcoin for the purchase price of $15 million. The same day, a company called Purpose Group Bitcoin ETF announced that they acquired another 1,022 Bitcoin within 4 days and currently hold 12,467 Bitcoin at the value of $690 million US. That is one company. Normally, we hear a lot about MicroStrategy, Grayscale, Square, PayPal, fifth name, can't remember them right now. We rarely ever hear about Purpose Group, and Purpose Group has $690 million, at least on the 12th of March, just in Bitcoin alone. The very next day, on the 13th of March, a company called Rush Order Teas, that is Tees, not as in the drinking tea, announced a $1 million investment into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I guess we can assume that it was a 50-50 split somewhere down the middle. On the 16th of March, InvestView, a US-based tech firm, announced that they now hold $1 million worth of Bitcoin, right? The very next day, the 17th of March, the Chinese company Meitu acquired an additional $28.4 million worth of Ether and $21.6 million worth of Bitcoin. On the 26th of March, a retirement fund called Kiwi Saver in New Zealand announced a 5% allocation of their $350 million in assets into Bitcoin, which they purchased. They purchased $17.5 million worth of Bitcoin. On the 7th of April, it says, wait, there we go. there was news that was kind of floating around of a company called Massachusetts Mutual. They purchased $100 million worth of Bitcoin in December of 2020 when Bitcoin's price was $18,785. We're getting a lot of companies who are also secretly purchasing a lot of Bitcoin and then telling us months later. I assume this is done in so they want to, purchase a large amount without having to really ring any bells, because if you hear that this company did that, that company did that, one other company did that, at some point you're going to be like, hey, we should also do the exact same thing. On the 8th of April, May 2 purchased another $10 million worth of Bitcoin, bringing their total to $100 million worth of crypto that they hold. And I'm still missing out. There was a story that we had about a week or two ago. There was a pizza company who I believe allocated $1 million that they had somewhere also into Bitcoin. There was another mom and pop shop somewhere who announced that they put $500,000 into Bitcoin. This happens all the time. That news is usually not as significant for the other news that we typically go over, but it's still quite significant because once again, we are now in the situation where we are not talking about someone buying 1 million Satoshis or someone buying half of a Bitcoin. Even the smaller companies are now buying 10 Bitcoin at a time. This adds up quite quickly. We've since had news that there are about 7 or 8 different cities in the United States who are going to be, you will be allowed to pay your taxes in Bitcoin. They're going to start paying public employees in Bitcoin. I think bonuses will also be paid in Bitcoin. There were 4 sports teams who also announced that they're going to be paying either the complete salaries of their players in Bitcoin or the bonuses at the end of the year. One of them was like a 5 to 10% bonus that would also be paid out completely in Bitcoin, and this equals up to tens of millions of dollars. So it's happening quite fast. I think a lot of times we do completely just get lost in all the news that's actually out there. It's not really easy to keep up with all of it. And I am trying my best to make these videos kind of like a way to let everyone know that it's all happening. Because think about it. Whenever we get news, like even a lot of times, if you watch the other channel, I get quite peeved sometimes where we get news that a company has purchased $12, $13, $14 million worth of Bitcoin. And everyone seems to go, meh, not really understanding that this has been happening for months now. It's nearly every single day that there's another company who's coming forward. And once again, these are the companies who tell us that they're actually buying Bitcoin. And we typically, normally, just tend to get news about US companies who are buying Bitcoin. So I can only imagine what's actually happening around the world. Anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd make a video. It's been a long time. I'm going to keep track, of course, of all the new companies who are doing it. I'm going to try and actually diligently write down every single one of them as well, because sometimes I do see the $500,000 or the $1 million purchase, and I do it in the other video, but I don't write it down on my fancy schmancy pieces of paper that I have right here. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are, once again, prepared for everything that's going to take place. I'm not sure if you have been keeping track of it, but try and keep track of the, it's called the M1 money supply in the United States. The US dollar is currently being hyper devalued. They are printing trillions of extra dollars and pushing it into the market. You can look at the charts. It's actually quite scary because a lot of asset values and other things, especially the stock markets, have been going up simply because of inflation, and it's not even normal inflation. It's not the normal 2% that they say is trying to go on. It's actually a bit weird, and this is why you see so much money moving into Bitcoin. It's a hedge against inflation. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.